All right, Pro MMA Insider here with UFC heavyweight Roy Nelson. Roy, thanks for taking the time. First question for you, just given that Dos Santos lost recently and Overeem as well, he was supposed to be the next challenger. Do you feel that now that you're possibly in line for a title shot, given a good performance here against Cheick Kongo coming up at UFC 160?
You know, the thing about the UFC, anybody's in line for the next title shot. I mean, Chael came from 85 going up to 205 for the title. Ronda Rousey coming from another organization for the title. So pretty much, I even heard Herschel Walker's going to be challenging for the title next. So anything's possible.
Yeah, that's one thing to add on to that, and one thing I hear you guys talk about frequently here. Do rankings matter at all? I mean, you keep, some people say you don't deserve a shot, say, well, you haven't beat anyone in the top 5, but then I hear you guys go around and say, well, who is in the top 5 and why are they there? Because there's no one has huge winning streaks or that kind of thing. So do the rankings really matter at all to you, or anybody?
Yeah, no, I mean, rankings matter, especially in boxing, because then you're guaranteed a certain person out and stuff like that. And our MMA rankings, a lot of the, I guess, I think the people that like yourself, like the press, they have no clue what really, who's better at MMA. So, they'll have somebody like a Shane Carwin still ranked and he hasn't fought in 4 years or something like that. It's just some of the, they don't really watch MMA. They just kind of go, oh yeah, they still got Brock Lesnar, but they're tuning into USA and watching WWE, and they're like, man, he's still kicking ass or whatever, so the people in the media still have no clue what they're doing.
So having said that, how important is getting a title to you personally? Is it something that you really care too much about, or just keeping winning is the most important thing?
You know what? My biggest thing is I just want to fight the best in the world. So after Cheick Kongo, I'd love to fight, somebody like Cain Velasquez, Bigfoot, I know they're fighting for the title. But either one of those guys, I always want to just fight everybody at least once, just to see where on my own ego, just to see where I stand.
Right. The one thing interesting talking about your fight coming up with Cheick is that, you kind of had your credentials at the beginning on the ground. You were a ground guy and he was a striker. Yet the last few fights has kind of gone the opposite. You stayed standing and he's been going to the ground. How do you think it's going to play out when you guys meet together? And do you feel that because of that you have an advantage either way?
No, Cheick Kongo I think has the second most wins in the UFC. So I mean, he's one of the actually one of the only heavyweights that you actually got to worry about, because I mean, he's been there for a very long time, beat a lot of people. So I guess if I beat him, he would be a top 5, because at one time he was a top 5. That's why I say rankings don't make a difference. I mean, if he beat Brett Rogers I think was ranked number 4 in the world at one time. So that's how awesome rankings are. I beat Crow Cop, and Crow Cop was number 1 in the world. So, when people go, oh, you never beat me, so it's one of those weird.
Right. The one thing you're kind of known for is your strong stance, whether it be controversial or not. But you definitely say what you think. One thing was of course the VADA testing, all that kind of stuff. Would you actually fight someone who was given clearance to do TRT? And what are your thoughts on people that are allowed to do that?
The thing is, I've already fought people on TRT or steroids or whatever you want to call it, but I'm going to go opposite. I always do opposite what Dana White says. I love steroids. Steroids are awesome. TRT is awesome. Let's just get everybody on it because it's cool.
So do you think there's really no valid excuse for anyone using that?
No, I think it all depends on what Dana White says. It's kind of like the sheep, the shepherd leading the sheep or something like that.
All right, just a couple more real quick. The one interesting fight out there for you in the future that a lot of people talk about, and I think would be cool, I guess, given that you both have a reputation for having, probably the best chins in the business and also similar physiques. Mark Hunt, are you interested at all in that kind of fight, and what do you think about that?
No, I'd love to, if Mark Hunt beats Jr., I'd love to fight Mark. I don't know, I really don't. Whoever's in the UFC, I'll fight. I mean, it's not. I just prefer to fight somebody I haven't fought before, just so that I can kind of gauge, and then after, when I get the chance at the belt, then I already know how everybody fights.
Right. And then, since you fought Dos Santos, what do you think he needs to do to win that fight?
Just punch Mark more times in his face. Maybe get mount, stay there.
All right. This last question, another controversial thing you said the other day. I think it got a lot of play on Twitter. You made a comment about about people not being in control of their own Twitter accounts. It was just in a tweet, so anything longer you can expand on that and people that don't have control of their Twitter accounts?
No, you know what? I thought the whole reason why you have Twitter and Facebook or stuff, mostly Twitter, not really Facebook. Facebook's more like a website. Twitter was to kind of more interact with the fans on a one-to-one type basis. But I mean, it all depends on what you're using your Twitter for. But if you're acting like if it's coming personal from you, there's a difference between if it's like, hey, GSP's going to be doing an autograph signing, then that's more of an announcement. But if you're like, hey, I like to eat chocolate milk or eat chocolate pancakes or whatever, from my personal standpoint, then that's not you. That's basically a lie. So, I mean, it's like Dana. I think Dana tweets sometimes, and then sometimes somebody else does it. I think some people are busy, some people aren't. But it all depends on how you really feel towards the fans.
Right. All right, well, we look forward to you. Like I said, UFC 160 heading out for the first time, I guess, in a while, not fighting in Vegas, ready to head to New Jersey and take care of business there?
It's still America, so yeah.
All right, thanks, Roy. Appreciate it.